Your thoughts become your reality. Whatever you think about in your mind, eventually in real life, it is going to be an accurate representation of that. There is a direct correlation between what you think about and how your life actually is. If you're constantly thinking about negative things, or you're constantly complaining about shit all the time, the majority of the time, chances are your life is also the same thing. You know, if you constantly complain and you think about all the responsibilities that you have, all of the problems that you have to deal with that haven't even happened yet, you're just mentally preparing yourself for it. And then chances are you're gonna have a very stressful day, or a stressful week for that matter. And you also might become very irritated by just small things and different things in your life, because you already set your reality up in your head, because you already started thinking negative. However, let's think of the opposite now. If you were to think very positive about, okay, so today's going to be a great day, I'm going to meet some wonderful people, or, you know, regardless of what happens, there's always a lesson to be made, then your life is going to be like that. Your day is going to end up being like that. You know, your thoughts also shape your emotions, you know, how you feel. And it has a direct correlation to your life as well. If you're always thinking negative, you're just going to be, as I said, very angry, frustrated, easily stressed out. You're not going to be able to focus well. But if you're able to think positively, you know, about your life, because your life is positive regardless of how you perceive it, you have a very positive life. You have a very good life because you are alive right now, and you have access to all these beautiful resources in this life that you should be grateful for, that we should all be more grateful for. And when you start thinking like this, then your reality starts to change. You look at problems as opportunities. You look at rejections and failure as opportunity to learn, to grow, to get better. And as learning something new, learning something from a mistake that you made is always a positive thing. Because learning is growth, learning is positivity. Anything that makes you a better individual is something that's positive. Whether it's reading books, whether it's learning a new skill online, you know, whether it's drawing, whether it's exercising, whether you're going to learn how to play a new sport or an instrument, it is a positive thing, and it shapes your reality. It shapes the world around you. And everyone looks at the world in a certain way. Maybe there's 5 people that live in a town, right? And out of those 5 people, maybe 4 people see the town as a beautiful place. They love the peace and quiet of the town. They love the nature. And then maybe there might be one person that hates it. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but that person may hate the fact that there are very few people to socialize with. He may hate the silence, that he's bored, there's nothing to do in the town. But then he's complaining. In a way, he is complaining. And that person, I guarantee, is going to be a much more frustrated individual. He complains more about life. He has a very pessimistic perspective on life out of those 5 people. But those 4 people who are very optimistic, who are appreciative of the life that they currently have, right? The peace and quiet, the beauty, the fact that there are the very few people who live in this town who have the opportunity to experience this. They are the most positive. They are the most uplifting. They have very happy emotions. They're more grateful than other people. So regardless of your environment, of where you live, you may be living in a very like run-down place, like a ghetto or something in the middle of Somalia or something. I guarantee you there are people that live there that, you know, are genuinely happy for the basic things that they have in their life, like food or water or family or friends that are nearby, or a community. A community can make people very, very happy because they feel like they're part of something and you're supporting each other. So, you know, your environment definitely plays a huge role in how you perceive life, how your thoughts are. It's a reflection of your thoughts. But it doesn't matter where you live, what circumstances you are currently in right now. It all comes down to your thoughts. It all comes down to what you think of yourself. What do you think of the world around you? Do you see the world as opportunity? Do you see the world as a beauty, as adventure, or do you see the world as just a nuisance that you just have to live in it? I think a lot of us are also facing this dilemma where, we're just going through life without any purpose, or we just see life as one big problem, one after the other. We turn on the news, we see all this negative stuff about wars happening around the world. We hear about just people like dying, or diseases and all this shit, and all these natural disaster problems that are happening around the world. All of these issues can make our situation worse as it is, because we're already trying to fix our thoughts. But when we're constantly looking at negative news and negative media, negative stuff online, that doesn't help our cause at all, does it? In fact, it makes it worse, because we're already trying to deal with our inner demons, our inner problems, or that we're trying to make a lot better. So it's better if you just stay away from all that. Stay away from the negativity stuff, because that can also influence the way you think, and it can also influence your reality. If all you do is turn on the news, and you're just watching the news, and that's the only source of information that you're getting from, you're gonna have a very, very limited form of education. You're gonna have a very limited mindset. You're gonna believe the certain shit that they tell you on the news that brainwashes your mind, right? That all Muslims are terrorists, or certain religious groups are all terrorists. They're all crazy. They're all, you're gonna create fear in your mind of a certain group. And then when you go out in public, that is your reality. That becomes your reality. Your thoughts have been influenced by what you were listening to, what you were seeing, and that also shapes your reality. So now you may become a very racist individual, right? If you see a brown person walking by, you may feel a little bit skeptical about him, or it doesn't matter what race, but this is what's going to happen to you, right? But if you see people without less judgment, with more taking the time to be more understanding, because to take the time to be more understanding requires work. To be less judgmental requires work, it requires effort, it requires you to learn. And a lot of people don't want to be in that, don't want the easy way out. They want the information to be given to them easily, fed to them easily. But a lot of the information that's out there is fabricated. It's telling you very, very limited information, not facts. There's very limited stuff from only one source. And that's going to make you believe in a certain reality. And it doesn't even necessarily, your reality isn't necessarily shaped from just what you view online. It can also be shaped from who raised you. Your parents, your family members, your guardians, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your own siblings, your teachers. You can be influenced by them as well. They can influence the way you think. Your friends also influence the way you think in a way. Who you hang around with the most can influence your reality. You start believing certain things without actually doing the research yourself. Just because 10 or 15 people say something that could be true, you automatically assume that it's true because a majority of them agree on the same thing. But where's the evidence? Where's the proof? It's very easy for us to get influenced by the world around us, and our thoughts can get easily influenced, and our reality starts to change. I see, if you go out in public if you live in a city or something, you go out, you go for a walk, you can see people just by their face that a lot of them seem very frustrated. A lot of this just seem very angry. You can just get this vibe off them, right? And you don't know what's going through their mind. You don't know what's happening. But the way they view the world is different than how you view the world. How you look at that tree and what you think about is different compared to someone else who's looking at that tree. Your thoughts may be different, may be the same, could be the same, or it could be different. So, our thoughts play a big role in what we become in the future too. If all we've been taught to believe is that, you need to work a 9-to-5 job in order to be successful, you need to go up the ladder just because my dad has done it, you're gonna believe that that's true. But you're never gonna understand that there's other ways of becoming successful, and there's other meanings of the word successful as well. It's not just being financially successful. If you're able to raise a family with a decent amount survivable salary, you're successful because you just started a family. If you're able to stay dedicated to your religion, to your path to God, and you stay very disciplined towards it, that is also a form of success. If you're able to learn a new language, even if you're not totally fluent at it, maybe you're 60%, 70% fluent, but understanding a new language, you are still successful. If you were able to wake up today early for a whole week, or even just a couple of days, or even just one day you were able to wake up at 5 a.m. and it's something that you haven't done in a long time, bro, you should pat yourself on the back. That is a form of success. Success has no scalability. Success has a different meaning for everybody, right? For me personally, I recently was able to fast for 34 hours for the first time in my entire life. I just had liquids. For me, that is a form of success. It was very difficult to do because it's my first time doing it, but I felt very good about myself. And, a lot of us have been given this certain path, right, to follow by our elders or by our people who are older than us, right? And when we get to the end game, when we get to the result, when we get the career path that we've been kind of influenced to pursue, we may not be happy. And then we see reality as only one path, but we don't see the world as, we don't open our mind to other opportunities and other possibilities, right? Because we're just so stuck on one path. I love talking to people who believe in aliens. I love talking to people who believe in other faiths. I love talking to people who have the complete opposite perspective or belief than I do, because there's something to be learned. There's something to be learned from it, right? But a lot of us are afraid of being wrong. A lot of us are afraid of a little bit of resistance, right? So when we talk to these certain people, we feel like they're attacking our reality, that they're attacking our thoughts. But they're not, they're not at all. Everyone has their own beliefs and perspectives, and you cannot force that upon the other for them to believe what you believe, But we should look at them as people as opportunity to learn, to grow, and to make your life more wonderful and more interesting. But a lot of us just stay in our own path. We just stay straight, and then whenever somebody comes our way, we just move along, but we don't take the time to maybe get a little uncomfortable with a conversation. And I've been caught in this a few times too in my life, where someone had a different belief than I did, and I just refused to listen to them. But now as I get older, I understand that everyone's different, and then everyone has something unique to bring to the table, and as long as you're able to listen, you become a much more wise or much more experienced individual as well. It's a way of growth. When you talk to people who are completely different than you, who see the world completely different than you do, or to challenge your thoughts, who challenge your beliefs, that is the best thing to grow. That's the best way to grow, to learn about yourself, to get better overall. But many of us are afraid to be challenged. A lot of us are afraid to be challenged, But, it is what it is. And that's it. Thank you for watching.